Hey, welcome. Come on up into the stairs.
Oh, hi. That's me.
I fucked it up. Good start, Steve. Professional.
Yeah. Oh, the best. This is golden. Golden.
Dude, well, before we get started, dude, thank you for coming on. Like, all honesty, I'm super stoked that you're here.
Hey, I'm really excited to be here to talk with, the one and only Konky my dude, the handsome hunk.
You've deemed me, I've used that as my, like, scientific name, and I have some audio that's unused right now of Lee talking in, like, a planet, like, Blue Planet documentary voice, talking about how I used to work at Chili's and, like, cry in the corner and shit sometimes.
Oh, that's beautiful. And it's something I want to see now.
it'll be something soon. I just gotta film it. Now it's nice out. How's the weather by you, by the way? Hot? Humid?
I think it was like kind of decent yesterday. I haven't really been going outside. I've been traveling a bunch and I just got in and the last thing I wanted to do was be outside.
Right.
So I've just been in my office. It's been golden in here. Temperature's great in my office.
Where the air conditioning, like yeah.
Yeah, I could open it up on the app and I could tell you right now.
Well, tell me,
I haven't been outside.
I guess let's start off. I know a lot of people know who you are. So let's for the people who don't know who you are, Drew. Go ahead and give me like a little bit of an intro, and then we'll get into like how your week was and all that.
Yeah. Hi. My name's KonkyTalks, and I have a beautiful mustache. I've been growing this mustache and just having it on my face.
God damn it.
I'm sorry. My name's Andrew. I go by DrewPDrawers on Twitch, and I've been streaming for about 4 years. 4 years comes up probably, I think, in about 2 weeks, and I'm really excited about that.
4 years, man. That's nuts.
Yeah. And streaming has been something I've been doing as a hobby and not something I ever thought I was going to be doing. And I'm just leveraging it as a gateway to other opportunities. But
and we'll get more into that later.
Yeah.
Doesn't it look like Drew's hanging out with me in my room? That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, hi.
How neat is that?
Am I looking at the right area?
I think so, yeah.
Maybe. Oh, yeah. Give me a high five. Can we make that work? Oh, you almost kissed me.
I did.
Got him.
Yeah. Got him, no boys. No kiss. And for those of you guys who don't know me, I'm KonkyTalks, which is that name came from Drew. It came from Drew directly. Konky Dong. I'm Steve. You can call me Mr. Dong if you want, or Abe Froman, Sausage King of Chicago. That's my self-proclaimed name. How was your past week, man? You were traveling a fuckload.
Yeah.
And what do you do? I guess, what's the reason why you're traveling? Share a little bit about your work, if you like.
Yeah, so I do a couple of different things. So obviously there is streaming, and then I'm also social media manager and kind of like a brand ambassador for OPC. They do gaming chairs. And then I'm also the communications and marketing coordinator for Anime for Humanity. So both of those things got me to PAX East and Wizard World in St. Louis, back-to-back traveling this last week. So as somebody who doesn't like to like go outside, talk to a lot of people, I'm an introvert with social skills. It was really exhausting and amazing at the same time. PAX East was really great. Got to meet a lot of people, got to see a lot of developers, and I don't know, it was just really cool to be involved with some like-minded individuals again. Wizard World was a little bit different. That was in St. Louis, where I'm not like the biggest, comic book connoisseur or anything like that,
yeah.
Or like general fan stuff, but it was good. It was a worthwhile trip, and I'm back. I'm excited.
So one thing I notice, a lot of people that are in the social media space or like forced to go into public is that they're very introverted. So it's like completely opposite of where you are. Would you say that like you gravitated towards these sort of roles to help you get out of the introverted phase, or at least like flex the extroverted muscle a little bit more?
Oh yeah. It would be nice to like flex the extroverted muscle, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, I've been living in Tennessee for probably 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
And I can count on one hand the amount of times I went to a bar or an event or like decided to just take my car to go out. Like I've literally been on a plane lately more than I've been in my car to travel locally. So this forces me to get out. It forces me to get out of my comfort zone, say hi to new people, shake some sweaty hands, and look for hand sanitizer after.
Dude, you got to carry your own, man. Come prepared.
You're right. I come with vitamin C and caffeine. That's all I need. A lot of it.
Oh, God. It's fucking nuts. Dude, and like weird story too. Me and Drew had known of each other possibly like most of our like high school, middle school years. Because you knew my best friend Peter, and I don't know. I feel like he had mentioned you, but I was just like, no, I don't know. I didn't know Matt had a brother or whatever. And it's so weird how like streaming reacquainted us. Like later on, and that was pretty cool to like go back and be like, oh, we kind of grew up around the same people. It's just weird that we never met.
Yeah, it was just crazy to think like how many times we were probably like literally within walking distance or 5 minutes away from like seeing each other.
Yeah. Did you ever go to any shows?
Yeah, like I've
probably fucking met
shows
you.
where like Matt or Lemon would like wear his like little. Well, he'd wear like track pants and rip them off and have his like little like jean shorts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've gone to a bunch of his shows. And so like I've probably seen you, but then like my introverted self would never introduce myself. I would just probably hang out there in the corner and be like, hey, Matt, good show.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, I probably I was like, oh yeah, nice to meet you. And I just like fucking didn't do anything about it.
Yeah. Like you and I probably couldn't place each other's like faces with names until Twitch at all.
Not at all.
Like I knew of your name. I would never be able to associate your face, but like, so Konky and I, we've been like hanging around each other on Twitch for a while now. And it's just so cool that like we like had the same friend group. He knew my brother and everything, but we're really good friends on Twitch now, but we never took the opportunity to like meet each other like in high school or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, life is fucking weird, dude. The world is a small, weird place sometimes.
And I feel like the more I'm getting out and the more I'm on the internet, the more I'm on Twitch, the more I'm going to conventions, like the smaller the world feels.
Yeah.
And it's an extravagant feeling. To try to broaden your horizon, it just gets a little bit smaller.
Yeah. Well, it's also like we're in a very unique time too, because right now, like we meet a lot of people online and then we play games with them. And then, next thing we know, we're at a convention meeting everybody that we had been playing games with. And like seeing everybody with like legs walking around or like full bodied is the better word, I guess, because I don't want to exclude anybody. But it's just.
I didn't know he had legs.
Yeah. It's just like we only see each other from the waist up. That's it.
Yeah.
And that was my past weekend. I got to hang out with the Say Hey Rocco crew and Curry and got to see Overwatch League. Have you ever gone there?
I want to go so bad. That's like one of my life goals is to just like go and see one of the events.
It's fucking nutty,
like,
dude.
That's on the bucket list. I was like so
Tickets are cheap. They're like $11 for a ticket to go to Overwatch League if you get them ahead of time.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, dude. It was crazy.
Well, I guess I'll have to get out there. I guess I'll be in LA. I don't know how close that is to any of the Overwatch League stuff.
If it's on a weekend, it most likely will be like live. You should check out dates.
All right, well,
take a note.
I'm gonna do that. I'll be in LA in June. So
and then you can hang out with the Rocco crew if they're available.
Rocco, come hang out with me.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, just like I'm really jealous of your trip because like I would have much rather been there than like St. Louis. St. Louis, there was like nothing crazy. It was just like a big arch that I saw from the highway, and it just like felt like another Cleveland or Columbus or just some stupid city.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so like similar layout, similar vibe.
Yeah, and then I think just getting to meet the people that you develop friendships with on Twitch and playing games, and like it's one of my favorite things because what's nice about playing video games and streaming is you basically get to handpick your friends over years. So you're picking from a much bigger pool of people that you can associate with yourself than people in your local town or anything like that, which is fantastic because I mean, sure, there were like 40,000 people in Elmhurst where I grew up in Chicago, but at the same time, it's like I didn't like a lot of them. So I was totally okay with going to Tennessee and being a hermit over here.
Yeah, because you can. I mean, you're right. You can handpick your friends. It's weird. This is a really weird like way to make friends, because you can watch people like passively and just like silently just judge them based on their behaviors, and then you'd be like, yeah, you're a fucking piece of shit, I'm not gonna hang out with you.
Yeah, just like, I wonder if you smell worse than your personality. Like, that's another great thing about Twitch too. You don't have to like awkwardly ask somebody to leave. You don't have to smell how bad they smell. You just can say bye by clicking a little red X in the corner. It's nice.
Yeah, just goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of curious about like your Twitch journey, because like for me, I'm not saying I'm unique or anything, but like this social media aspect, like the social media aspect, the Twitch thing, like I got on super late, and I honestly didn't really understand the depths at which I would be, you know, making relationships and be affected by the people that were there. So when I first started out, it was really, the word I want to use is strange. Oh, hold on. I had a Discord notification go off.
And that's a good word for it.
It was just really strange, and like, it was like I was swimming in this thing that I didn't quite understand. And so what ended up happening is I was ultimately, what I felt like I was, what I was doing was that I was alone. I think a lot of it had to do with how, I guess, my perception of it, like almost like I was being selfish with my actions. I felt like I was by myself, doing things by myself, playing games on occasion with other people, but I didn't really have like a, what's the word? Like a direction. That's the word I want to use. Like there was no direction whatsoever for me pursuing, you know, what I'm doing now, or like the conversations I'm having. So, what was your start to like all of this? How did you get turned on to it, I guess?
I mean, I would assume that it's a pretty similar story for a lot of people, where you kind of just go in, you're expecting just to like, I don't know, just put your videos online and like, I don't know, just cast a rod hoping to catch a fish, and then like, I don't know, you don't know what kind of fish you're gonna catch. You don't know exactly what you're fishing for. Right. I think after a little bit of doing it, you finally are like, okay, I really like this kind of fish, and I'm going for that every time. The direction that you have with streaming doesn't come until you've, you know, kind of pandered the waters a little bit. Like when I first started, I got into streaming basically because the only thing that got me out of just like a really bad time with just anxiety and just like exhaustion from being in sales at AT&T. I hated that job. I'm an introvert. I got my social skills from AT&T and having to develop like relationships with like quick hit transactions with like 45 minutes, learn somebody's life story, tell a little bit of mine, some thousands of dollars worth of shit. Right. I hated that. I don't like sales. That's not me. So I saved up enough money. I was like, okay, I'm going to stream. I'm going to start this journey. I had 150 followers, and I was like, we're going to do this full time. Stupidest decision of my life.
150. You're like, fuck yeah, dude. We're getting it.
Like,
we're getting it.
We're going to burn through some savings real quick. And I just went for it. I was like, at the end of like my sales journey, I was like getting sick every other day, just like depressed as all hell. I was just like, I just had this thought. I was like, I can go to school for 4 years because I don't want to be in sales, or I could try streaming for 4 years. Either way, I'm probably going to build up a lot of debt and eat a lot of ramen. It's true. But if I go to school, I might still hate what I do.
True.
And so when I started streaming, I did my first stream with the Xbox and the Xbox Connect. I watched my VOD. I hated it. It was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. So I figured out how to like stream off my MacBook, and I hated it. And then I bought a PC, and it was kind of just like from there, it was just trying to just grasp at any straw I had to make it work. So that's where if nobody was in chat, I had to figure out ways to entertain myself.
Right.
So that's where like I was like, okay, what could I do that would make it interesting? So I would like draw a little like stick figure of myself and drop it on OBS. And I was like, there's a lot of things I can do with OBS that people aren't doing. And that's kind of my journey, was just developing ways to entertain myself and find something that worked that kept me out of sales. And
Makes sense,
I gave myself 4 years to do it, and 4 years comes up in 18 days is my 4 years on Twitch. So that would be the day I would have graduated college. That would have been the day that like I would have had to go and find a job, pay off $30,000 in student loans, and probably talk to a doctor about my sodium intake with the ramen. So
And your caffeine intake.
oh yeah, because both of that's there. I think I'm happy with where it went, but it was nowhere near where I thought this journey was going to take me at all.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty admirable in general. Like, you set a goal to essentially, like, you were like, this is my options for this. Like, you gave yourself the option to do both, and you took the riskier one in general. Like, I would say a lot of people wouldn't opt in for they wouldn't opt in for like the risky route. It's very hard to be like, look at all the cards on the table, and the safe cards, they're gonna save, but are you gonna make it out of there like with your happiness and money and whatever? And then you got the other hand where it's like, okay, well, I mean, if I fucking draw more cards, there's a chance that I could just knock this shit out of the park in my life and money wise, whatever, my happiness, and let's go, dude. Fucking let it roll, like that shit is it's extremely admirable, dude, because I mean, I felt like I stumbled into this, and like I don't consider, I don't know, I do this part-time. It's not something that like I can think of it as like a dedicated means of a career, but you also did the same thing, because you were using Twitch not using Twitch, but like you use Twitch as a sort of a diversifying platform to find the job you have now and work with like other companies and stuff. And dude, that's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, but like I just don't recommend what I did to anybody.
Well, tell them why. What's the reason why, I guess? What did you learn in this like trying experience that sticks out, like out of everything there?
People are really nice, and they shouldn't have to be that nice. There were like times where like, I mean, really streaming didn't pay off, I guess, until probably about a year and a half ago, where like I was finally starting to break even, I guess, with avoiding evictions of like moving 5-6 times. It was just like a lot of things that kind of go on in the background, and it's not something that I recommend to anybody, but like every time you go on stream, just like try to be the best person that you can be. And like, that's what I try to do. And it was just so emotionally draining. Just to like try to pretend like everything's okay, everything's good. But like in one way it was emotionally draining, but in one way it was like what got me mentally through everything. Was just trying to like put on your best face, and because people like reacted positively to it, you could keep going.
Yeah,
because of the people's reactions. So I had moved way too many times. When
how many times
ran out?
How many times did you move?
From Hoffman Estates, which was where I had my townhouse, where I had like a streaming room and everything. I had to move to my brother's house for a month. I had to move down to Tennessee to my parents' house. I had to move to my own apartment. Picked up, a couple of odd-end jobs just to make ends meet, whether it was stocking overnight at PetSmart, technician at Sprint, or contracting. And then from there, I had to move to my friend Zach's house and to where I'm at now. So I don't know if anybody was counting, but I think that's like 4 or 5 moves.
It's a lot of moves. It's a lot of moves, yeah, bro.
And we're gonna be looking at another one here soon. Yeah, it's just it's a lot of stuff that like, and you're trying to keep up this whole thing, of like everything's perfect and grand throughout everything.
Yeah.
So it's been an interesting ride. I don't recommend it, but like it's been good. Overall payoff is, I think I'm pretty happy with where I'm at.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, in all honesty, like you do most of your growing in the most stressful situations, and a lot of people avoid them. They go by, and I talk about this a lot on the show, but there's this path of least resistance that people opt in for because it's easy. It doesn't mean it's necessarily the best path, though, and the one that'll have the most growth. So that's awesome, dude. Like, through all the perseverance and moving and all that stuff, you still pursued this idea of what you wanted to create, and this form of expression that, I mean, I think we can all agree represents a really good, it's uniquely Drew on Twitch, you know? That's super awesome. So I guess, like, during all of these moves and everything, how were you figuring out, like, what you wanted to do? And when I say what you wanted to do, I feel like everybody's stream starts to, at a certain point, it turns into a reflection of how that person is. And so, on your stream, there's obviously, like, a lot of music, a lot of cuts, a lot of effects, and it really is just a sort of a representation of how you think, for the most part. So where do you grab that stuff from? Like, how did you, I guess, start picking apart OBS and start really getting into, like, how you wanted it to perform in a certain way? Like, did you spend hours doing all of this stuff, or was it more of just like plug and play? Did you, like, what I guess is the fundamental process on how you started, starting from, like, the basics and then working up to where you are now?
I think
that's a big question, so if you need me to start, so I guess, like,
totally fine.
I guess, like, to start, the question is, when you, let's say you wanted a certain effect, what are the steps that you took in order to get to those? Because a lot of people see the end result and they're like, I'll never be able to do that, I'm a bitch, you know? It's like, no, you're not a bitch. You can do it. You just need to have somebody that, you know, knows this stuff to explain it to you in a very ridiculous way. And Stefan does that a lot. Like, Stefan on the Sushi Dragon, he does it a lot. He speaks from a very technical place, like he's swimming in it, but when you slow him down and you start to talk to him about, like, how did he get to the steps he's doing, he's more than willing to, like, oh yeah, I totally forgot there was, like, starting steps for this shit. So yeah.
So mine basically was, I think just where everybody thought it was, like, perseverance, it was more stubbornness on my part. And my ability was more to, like, be so stubborn that, like, I wanted to make it not fail, or that, like, I wanted to be able to entertain myself when chat was dead, because that's what happens when you start, you know, full-time streaming with 150 followers. You know, you just don't do it. Just don't be an idiot. Don't be me. So when I had first got my gaming PC, I think I was streaming Destiny, and I was just looking at the category of Destiny and how many people had thousands of viewers, hundreds of viewers, 10 viewers, and, like, I was sitting at 2 or 3. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but I was like, what would set myself apart from everybody else?
Right.
And I just saw, like, little hotkeys for scene switches, and I was just like, what can I do? Let's set up my MacBook and let's do, like, little voice effects with Logic, because I used to love music. So initially I used to have, like, a full soundboard with Logic Pro running and, like, the ability to do voice effects. And it was a nice gimmick, but it would annoy people after a little bit. So I was like, I need to do something that entertains me visually and that I'm not annoying people with. And I was just trying to record something. And the recording, like, for whatever reason, had a glitch, and it was just me dancing and looking at different parts of OBS with a delay. I was like, wait a second. What if I got rid of all the borders on OBS? And that came out of it. Just like a weird display capture where, like, I could, like, just, like, dance in my chair and just make myself smile.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where, like, it started. I think 3.5 years ago, it was just like, I started playing Destiny, and every time I did something cool or finished a strike or finished a raid with my buddies or had too much beer, because I was drinking a lot then, you know?
Yeah.
I would just play music and dance, because all the, like, I was still introverted. I still didn't really know how to talk to everybody on stream. I didn't know how to have the talking path. But what I did have was the ability to put a smile on my own face to hopefully put it on others if I could look at myself being silly, just in my OBS, like, display.
Yeah.
And the thought process was find ways to make myself smile, and maybe I can make somebody else do it. And it kind of just came out of that, where I would just find the weirdest looking things. I loved music, loud music, and I would just blast it and drink and dance a little bit.
like a safe stripper almost.
Yeah, no nip. Lots of dancing.
No
no
nips,
nip.
dude. TOS. Oh, that's funny, dude. Okay, no, that makes sense. So, like, essentially, I mean, what I'm understanding, I feel like, I mean, you've referred to it a few times, and let me know if this is something that, you know, is off limits, but you said that this was sort of like a coping mechanism for like anxiety and depression. And is this something that you feel like streaming has been helping you a lot with, just in terms of like the relationships you've built, or like what do you know, like did you do any therapy and or go through like any sort of talks with anybody to determine, you know, where this stems from or comes from? And if you don't want to talk about it, it's totally fine.
Oh, it's totally fine. I like to think I'm an open book. So in terms of like therapy or anything, never went through it. But like streaming has been therapeutic in its own ways. And it's actually like gotten me into trouble with like relationships in my own life. Where I've had people be like, you don't laugh like that with me, you know? Because I'm laughing with people who are in the audience, or like who are watching, or just playing games or being friends. And when I really like took a step back to think about it, is like I can have some of my favorite moments to look back on, as sad as it sounds, sitting in front of a webcam and talking with my hand-picked friends on the internet. Playing games late into the night, you know, just playing Overwatch or just acting stupid, you know. I didn't, you know, sometimes like have that comfort level with people like in my real life and real relationships. So like as a therapeutic thing, it was like I just built these like relationships through Twitch that will indefinitely change my life for the better. And that is my therapy. And that's why I don't think I could ever quit, because I feel like not only would I let people down, but I'd be letting myself down and cutting out a huge part of my life that's just helped me through a bunch.
Well, that makes sense, dude, because like when it comes down to it, it's so weird to be in the society we're in right now, because like a lot of this has to do with you know, us having to like evolve past the whole what's the fucking word I want to say, like the social aspect of going out and meeting friends and determining like are they authentic or not. Twitch is sort of just that showcase of like, I would like to be this person's friend, right?
Yeah.
But there's would you agree there's like a threshold to that? Because some people, like, you'll just never ever be let in to that gate. You know what I mean? Like that's the hard part. I think we're in this unique spot where we have relatively small communities. You know what I mean? And then like, I guess here's a good question. How do you go about like picking who is being authentic or not?
That is a really hard question, especially through Twitch, when you know, and you can't. That is a hard one. On Twitch, authenticity is one of the hardest things to come across. And like, you know, whether it's people giving, you know, positive tweets, or, you know, trying to come in just to like hang out for a little bit to get their host later. I think when you really find authenticity, it's when you can get into Discord call after stream, and they're asking for your help, and it's not just how to set up scenes. It's, hey man, I just really, you know, want to pick your brain and get some advice, and I see that you're doing this, and it's really inspiring, like stuff like that. Or just to be somebody to reach out and say, hey, how are you doing? And it's not a loaded question when somebody's, hey, how are you doing? Or can I join your game? It's because they want to hang out with you, and not they want to reap the benefits of you. Not that like we're big streamers or anything like that, but like there are always people trying to get a leg up. And as long as I don't see somebody trying to get the leg up off of your stuff, I think that's where you can build, you know, reliable friendships. And that's where you find authenticity, is where like they ask authentic questions.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, like, determining whether somebody's authentic or not, I think it's almost like an innate, it's not something I can describe, but it's like when I see it, I just fucking know it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes it takes a little bit more investment because you're uncertain as to what's going on, and maybe they're like a character or whatever, or have like a persona that they have online, but the difference offline isn't so drastic. It's almost like they're bringing their best A game, you know, like, yeah, I can't even, that's how I guess I would describe it. But in this, like, dude, there's 500,000 people on this platform that are affiliated. So it's like, there's a lot of people who are definitely trying to not, I don't know if they, do you think that they're aware that they're trying to get a leg up to a certain regard? Like that they're trying to build a relationship in the sense, or for the purpose of taking advantage of somebody else? Or is this something that is happening like inadvertently in the selfish pursuit of trying to be a Twitch streamer, trying to get partner, whatever it is?
And I think at some point you have to realize that at the beginning, just about every relationship is built behind a wall trying to network. But it's like, does that intention, damage the authenticity? Does it damage the relationship that you could build? Because I would not have met all these people from, Lost in the Sauce or anything to go, give some quality hugs and, piggyback rides and stay in a nice little camper over at TwitchCon, if I wasn't trying to network with people and join a stream team.
Right.
Like, realistically, you and I wouldn't have met if you and I weren't trying to, like, find like-minded streamers in a community with Blitz. Even though we got introduced to each other because of Blitz through my brother, I think at the same time, it's that innate want and desire to find ways to grow and find other streamers to network with and to build communities with can make the most authentic relationships you'll ever have. But at the same time, it all came from a slightly selfish desire to, want to build a community.
Agreed. Yeah. I think it starts off, and this is just my opinion, of course, so feel free to chime in at any point or not. I think like, you shut your fucking mouth. So I guess like my opinion about this is, and this is just from my own experience, so if anybody shares this, feel free to chime in as well. But so for my first my own experience, I was coming at Twitch with the intent of wanting to it was like almost like a revenue maker, almost like prestige, like definitely ego driven is what I would call it. It's just this want to be validated by other people, and I feel like that pursuit is very easily accessible, which explains why there's so many affiliates and some people who are partnered that are still at the same numbers they were when they were trying to figure it out. There's this sort of like it's like a threshold to ego, and how much are you willing to learn and understand before you start to realize that maybe you're in the wrong position. And what I mean by that is when we were trying to figure out our network of friends, everybody has this sort of gravitational pull, and that network of people that you hang out with, you just naturally gravitate towards the people who have this similar gravity as you, the same vibe, the same comedy, the same ability to talk or engage. Or maybe you're just a rogue planet and you can literally go wherever you fucking want. It's just a matter of, what your personality type is and how you feel or whatever. And I can't help but feel like, even though I've only been on the platform what I consider about 2 years, even though I've been streaming for about 4 or so, or 5. I really do feel like you just start to gravitate towards them. It doesn't matter if you're in a stream team or not. If there's like 75 people, there will be a close like 15, 20 that you'll be like really involved with. And that's just naturally how it works out because of, how you feel the room out, and you start to like, it's like if we took all of our stream team members, we would all start to like, we would definitely all hang out, but you would start to see everybody break off and fuck around in their own little circles.
Little cliques, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that what you're describing when people are trying to get a leg up, it's almost like they're stretching themselves too thin, and there can't be that authentic personality extra layer happening. It's just we only see one person the whole time, and it's disingenuous to show up and want to introduce yourself without having to get deeper than just hi, my name is. Does it make sense?
That makes sense. And then I think when it comes to like having that gravitational pull between, you know, different people, I think that's why, I mean, I gravitate towards you and Edward and like Lich and Famous, who are just like, I like to gravitate towards people who put an effort into their content and
say it one more time.
Effort into their content. You know, I just like, I'm a huge like advocate for production value. People who like try to be the best that they can be, whether it's on stream or off stream. Like I don't like complacency. That's one of the things that I will always harp on. Whether it's, you know, friends that were in an old clique or a new clique, and you know, I don't like when people are content just being there and just taking up space.
You can sense it.
Yeah. And I gravitate towards people like, you know, you who are like trying to, you know, have discussions and to have open forums on to not be, I mean, like realistically, you could say that the EXP Talk shows to like not be complacent and to like inspire new ideas.
Yes.
So that's something I gravitate towards.
That's what leveling up means, folks. You level up, you get out of your fucking comfort zone because you got to fight a whole bunch of new monsters.
Exactly.
I don't know what that means, but y'all know what it means. Sorry, go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Like that's why they're like, even though I'm on a stream team, I'm not gonna go and check out everybody who has, you know, like a green screen, a camera, and knows how to like, I don't know, memorize like your mother jokes on like weird websites. I don't care. Like I want to see
frisky
content.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Man's got a couch and a green screen, and it's beautiful. But realistically, that's something I think the platform, you know, with yes, there are 500,000 affiliates. The last month there were 4.5 million people, unique streamers that attempted streaming last month. So when you put that into perspective,
God,
you will ruin yourself when you start looking at, you know, chasing the ego, chasing those things and that self-validation, because if you're not trying to like improve your content, then your ego is just going to be like diminished and beaten, and you can't put on a good show. It's
agreed.
Terrible.
Well, having your ego destroyed is one thing. Refusing to acknowledge your ego is an entirely different one. Like there's so many people that I feel that like pursue this thing, and they just think that if they put the green screen on and they have fun with their friends, that they're going to be successful, and they don't listen to people like that. This is where like I'm going to harp a little bit on like the generic positive feedback shit. Because like the don't give up things and like the if you get beat up, you pick yourself back up. Like that's just that doesn't help anybody. It's those feel good. It's just a feel good temporary emotion that you see when you see that happening, and then there's nothing to gain from it. It's just like, okay, well, you should have fucking quit like years ago and started taking care of yourself. Maybe, you know, like I've seen so many videos of people like crying and saying they're giving up streaming and like all this stuff, and it like breaks my heart. It really does. But it's almost like, you know, if you streamed for 2-3 years to 3-5 people, I don't think there's anything wrong with that if you're happy. But if it's fucking you up, that's a sign. Like these emotions of being depressed and sad and like, am I worth it? Like these are valid emotions that need to be addressed so that you can become a better person. And you refusing to acknowledge that and just simply like stream and use that as a scapegoat to try to find validation is fucked. It's fucked up. Don't do that.
I agree. 100%. Like you could take like what we do on Twitch and apply it to anything, you know. It's like some people just aren't going to be good for it. Take it or leave it. If you just want to upload your videos and have your clips, do it. But, you know, don't let it fuck you up. You know, if you're a runner who like somehow broke his leg, like, sorry, you're probably not going to be the world's best runner anymore. Like some people are at a disadvantage, whether it be their sense of humor, their ability to connect, and there are going to be other things better suited, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah. So I guess I want to talk a little bit about social media with you, because your handling of social media is unique. And what I mean by unique is you don't really handle it. You just kind of like, you're like, this is it started out as like hey, I'm doing that thing, and then like there wouldn't even be a fucking link posted sometimes, like, and then like I remember seeing a thread. It was really funny. There was like this vague tweet about streaming that appeared on the timeline, and it was hilarious because everybody jumping in the comments was like, "Are you live right now?" Because they weren't. Like, you've made this almost like personality on Twitter, where like everybody following you isn't sure if you're live or not, and they'll check just to be sure. And I love that.
Throw them a curveball.
Yeah,
you know?
dude.
Like sometimes I won't post that I'm live. Sometimes I'll just like throw up a picture of like a quick little dab. You know, I don't even know. It's just like sometimes I won't even put effort in. I'll just be like, hi. And they'll be like, are you live? Maybe I'm just saying hi. And then they comment. I don't think Twitter is used to just talk about when you're live.
Right.
Twitter is the ability to share and comment on other people's ideas. And because I'm on Twitter like all day, I am the lifeguard for social spaces for a company. My humor, whatever, on Twitter, the way I run it is because I'm just tired of being on Twitter. And I just figured out a way to spin it to not put a lot of effort into deep thought tweets. It just became like, you know,
yeah,
here's some content.
Enjoy
it or not.
That was like dude, I can't even, it's just so emotionally taxing. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I never get riled up, but like when I do, I go like, I have a fucking thread that appears.
They're hilarious.
And it's like, it only happens like every once in a while, and it always happens when I'm like road tripping or like in the car for more than an hour. Because that's all I'm gonna do is look at Twitter, and I'm like, what the fuck are these people doing? God damn it. And then like, and then like what comes out is like negative specific feedback. And I'm so glad I have that filter, because, and I talk about this a lot on the show, where like we're all just given these phones and this ability to like yell the emotions that we don't understand out into the Twitterverse. So like all you see most of the time is just ego, and along the lines of like, oh fuck, this is bad, like all that. Yeah. Or like, I'm a piece of shit, or it's, you know, like, I'm so great, listen to me, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, everybody shut the fuck up, nobody knows what they're talking about.
There's no like constructive like conversation that happens. Like, there's a whole platform to like develop like constructive conversation, and it's always like, this is why like there's studies based on like Facebook is depressing, because you only see the worst of people's lives, and like the best of people's lives. You're either going to be jealous or you're going to pity people.
Well, they have an algorithm for it, because that's what generates the most engagement, is a super negative or super positive thing. So the gray area is entirely fucking lost. So that's what like people think you should be doing in terms of like instead of exploring the gray area and talking about the variables that exist in there, it's just like, or like there's no, it's fucking nuts.
I just want to hang out in the gray area. There's more space.
Yes.
I'm an introvert. I need more space.
Yeah. There's more space in the gray area. I like that. Okay,
so
cool.
That's where I live on the Twitterverse, you know.
So when
outside of my
is it debilitating, like looking at Twitter all day as a social media person? Like,
oh yeah. Like,
what do you do to like decompress, to like get you out of that mindset of just like, what the fuck is wrong with everybody? Or are you like desensitized to it now?
I'm getting desensitized to it. But like some of the times where like you wouldn't think that, like, I work from home, I'm a social media manager, you wouldn't think that there's stress from that. But like I think one of the hardest days where I had at work was I don't know if you guys remember the Madden tournament with the Good Luck Have Fun bar in Florida.
Yeah, it was fucked up.
That was OPSeat's only showroom. So that entire day I was getting tagged and different videos and different angles of everything, like in the messages, like saying sorry, like, oh, were these your chairs, like people joking and memeing about it. And like I think I was at Patrick's house up in Chicago when that happened. And it was just like everybody at work was freaking out, and it was just like one of those things where like there was no easy way to decompress, except that was one of the only times I was like happy that with my job I was able to be in a living room with like my best friend Patrick. It's just always different kind of things through Twitter where like you'll just see some terrible things and some really amazing things, and you're just sitting on that like Facebook high or the Facebook lows for months.
Yeah, and going in between those like ebbs and flows are really fucking taxing.
Yeah,
nuts, dude.
I stream. I just like piggyback off of like just I try my best to make sure that chat has some energy. So like that's where some people might think that I might be overdoing it certain times, and it can be exhausting, but like I need to give people an inch so I can take a mile from them, and like that's how I decompress. Like I want people to be excited and be happy, and like if I can make somebody, you know, put a smiley face in chat, like that's how I decompress, and that's where like my addiction to streaming comes from. And at this point, I would say that I am addicted to streaming.
Isn't it strange to like have this sort of like want to be online and stream and talk and interact with people, but not be extroverted?
Yeah, it's a weird line that like nobody knows how to draw. It's probably a bunch of squiggles somewhere, but like I will never go up to a person at the bar and say hello and introduce myself.
What if you knew them?
If I knew them, yes, but because like
happenstance.
Like, and that's fine. Or if I get introduced to, that's fine. But like I think when I was at PAX South and I had to do my first like little marketing venture and like go up to a developer and introduce myself, I almost cried talking to my first developer. Like I was just like so socially anxious. Like everybody at PAX South there, like Drew knows how to talk to people, et cetera, et cetera. I'm comfortable with those people. You know, an introvert, it's not like they don't know how to talk to people.
Right.
But like if like at AT&T, they would come to me. At PAX South, my friends, TwitchCon, they would come to me. I didn't introduce myself to anybody.
Yeah.
They would all like come to me, and that's fine. But like going up to the first developer and being like, "Hi, this is what we do. This is AFH. This is the nonprofit that we work for." I'm like lip quivering, like face red, about to cry on this man's shirt. You know,
which is a good opening like line for anybody who is meeting somebody for the first time, is just to deeply cry into their shoulder.
Yeah. But with Twitch, I am invited to come into your chat and say hello.
Yeah.
Everybody's
stoked to see you,
somebody's
bro.
personal space, because that's what they want. They want people to come in and say hi. And I think that's where like you can be an introvert and it won't phase you on Twitch, because it is a platform designed to break those social barriers without having to talk face to face, without having to like see their shirt that you can physically cry on.
Yeah.
So like that's just one of those things. It's so much easier to be an introvert and to stream and to say hello to people than it ever is like in real life. I can't do that in real life. I can't, and I won't.
Do you think is it the physical space of like being with another person that you just are unfamiliar with? And does the anxiety, and I guess again, like this, feel free if any of this doesn't make sense, just feel free to interrupt me. But I guess my question is it more of like the fear of what they'll think, like perceive of you, that makes you nervous? Or is it just the situation in general? Like there's just too much auditory physicalness? Like is there like do you feel like you're in danger, I guess?
I think it's the lack of feeling like I'm in complete and utter control. So like even stepping out and being on a podcast that's not on my stream is like, it's really hard because you're not in complete control and you are doing your best to supply the best like impression. Yeah. And not feeling like you can control your impression is what makes it really hard as an introvert.
Right.
So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I
think it does.
Yeah.
So you're talking about, it's almost like a camera is watching you, and you're watching every step you take and trying not to misstep, because the misstep is what you're worried about. So before even a misstep happens, you're still thinking about like what could happen, and you're like fuck, and then
you're in the middle of it.
Yeah, you're in the middle of fucking up because you were so worried about it, and then you're just sweating and crying into a man you don't know. Yeah,
basically. I'm one of those people that like I overanalyze absolutely everything 5 steps in advance. Yeah. So whether I'm having a conversation with somebody, I'm thinking about the questions that are going to be asked next or haven't been asked yet, and I can even lose sight of the current question being asked. And to have that happen to be like, oh my gosh, in person, is my jean tucked into my sock? I don't know, do I have a weird hair sticking out somewhere? Yeah. Like, God forbid I have a booger in my nose. Like, all that stuff is going on while I'm like slow-mo shaking a man's hand like, how are you? I'm Drew. It's
yeah.
So like that's just how I operate, and like I don't like those unoptimal social situation.
Well, you like to have a lot of control is what it sounds like, right? So like that's why streaming is like your pristine environment. It's your sterile environment to have full control over what happens. And like we all know what it's like to not have control over a stream, like have shit go wrong and like all that, and that questions your fucking ego, and that shit is like real tough to deal with. Well, I guess like in terms of addressing this, is this something that you're just still like learning more and more about, or is it more of this thing that's there that you're aware of and you're kind of like dabbling in it, but you're not fully deep diving into like the whys and hows and all that?
I think it's something that I just like just do it now, you know, like at PAX East was like a total 180 of PAX South because I had been so uncomfortable at PAX South. I was kind of just aware of how uncomfortable I would be.
Yeah. So experiencing being uncomfortable had made it a little bit easier next time.
Yeah. And then just like, because that's kind of how I operate as like a human being, is just like, I mean, I saw like a comedy special of like Kevin Hart where he was talking about how he just like stuff to like let it float in the air and dissipate.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I let my feelings go. I don't bottle them up.
That's good.
I let them float in the air and dissipate. Because like eventually, like I don't have to worry about the stuff. Like I don't know why I would have been so sad 4 or 5 years ago. You know?
Yeah.
After a while, it's just like it's not my bottle anymore.
Yeah.
I can't remember. You know, it's like one of those things where like you can be like, wow, that one situation really fucked me up. But at the same time, it's like there are a lot of situations that didn't, and that's why I don't hold on to them. I know that they're there. They can float around me for a little bit, and I just gotta like let them go. Let it happen and just be like, this is where I'm at now. Just on to the next thing. Yeah,
I know a lot of people who like handle situations like that, and they end up being very nonchalant and cool-headed. It's a very hard thing to sort of like do. A lot of this, I guess, like when you say dissipate, are you approaching it? And this is just how I approach like feelings of inadequacy and all this other shit. It's more of like a forgiveness sort of thing. Like I'm aware there's like a fucking gorilla inside me that's like, you know, angry and can get upset easily and all this other shit. And like those feelings when they happen, like I just kind of accept them in the moment, and then like later on reflection, it's more like, fucking gorilla got out of the cage, man. Like I gotta just be okay with that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think I don't know if it's like a gift or like my biggest fault. I've had people get angry with me for like my lack of emotional response.
Sure.
And I just like, I live in the third person, and that's I think why I have social anxiety introducing myself, because I'm analyzing everything I'm doing third person in that moment. But like taking myself out and just being like, okay, if I react this way, what's gonna happen and how bad is this situation gonna be?
Right.
I try to think ahead to the things I can change and not the things I have no control over anymore.
So it's now the mantra is control what you can control.
And fuck everything I can.
Right.
There's not enough like life to live for the things I can't control. I can't feed every person in the world. I can't change world peace or world hunger. Like I can't control it. So like what can I control right now? I can, you know, be somebody to like, I can't give you advice, but I can listen to what you have to say just to vent. Or like I can just like help you out, be like, hey, I don't know, let's figure out how you might be able to think about the future and not the past.
Right.
Like, what's going on? That's it's a gift and a curse, because that third party like or third person like looking down on myself in like times of like emotional crap can either get me in trouble, or it can like help me out, or just like make me really, really anxious when I'm trying to meet somebody.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially when you're like hyper focusing on like what you want to do, and that magnifying glass comes up and you're just like, what are you doing, Steve? You know, like it's almost like you were caught by yourself. You know what I mean? And those moments are, it's almost like you were like a dog like going through the garbage at that point. You're like, fuck, I don't know. Fuck, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I'll just fucking do that. I feel like,
but it tasted good.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the stuff that we're seeing, the negative traits that we're seeing, and regardless of what situation you're in, whether you see like and we'll relate it to streaming because it's the easiest thing to relate to. Everybody's here on Twitch, right? When you see those like generic positive aspects, the generic negative shit, people who aren't like really, you know, in it for themselves, I think like I don't really have a problem. I don't have a problem with anybody trying to grow and become better. And like you said, you have a problem with complacency. I have the same fucking problem, except it makes me mad. Like I want to shake them out of complacency. But it's like everybody, and dude, I used to work in one of the most major electronic stores in America for 3 years, and I dealt with the full.
Radio Shack?
Yeah.
No,
wow, dude.
Was it
Holy
Radio
shit.
Shack?
No, dude. But actually, no, I did. I worked at Best Buy. That was terrible.
Yeah.
You and me shared work history there,
I worked
right?
at Best Buy Mobile, yeah.
Yeah.
I was there for a year.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even remember those 3.5 years. I was stoned every day. That shit was so bad. It was so bad. I've told the story so many times. It was so bad, like working there and being stoned made it way fucking easier. Where like the 3.5 years I was there, it was just like that. It was done, and I was moving on to a new job. But when I went back to where I worked, I was so flabbergasted by like what the inside looked like that I was like, was it really like this? And I was only gone for like 3 months, you know what I mean? I came back like to pick up a game or some shit that I had pre-ordered, and I was like, I can't believe I worked in here. I don't even remember this place looking like this. Like,
yeah,
it was bad.
And I think like it's gotten me into trouble a lot too with like trying to fight complacency. Like I can't work a job longer than a year most of the time unless like I either got promoted or like found something better. Like there are so many jobs that I've done, but I've never really lasted longer than a year.
Yeah. Mine's like, my threshold is about 2, and if even less if I'm not growing or doing anything important. Like if I'm not like able to have conversations or give feedback, or there's complacent people that I work with, it's just like I give feedback in every way that I can. And honestly, that's how I'm handling Twitch and Twitter right now. Is like I consider everybody that's on Twitch that is on the platform, I work with them. You know what I mean? And that's it's something that I've adopted. Like I started doing it like about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago when I started doing the Lisa Simpson meme, where I was just like, you know, I need to treat this platform like I'm working with these people, and that, you know, I'm trying to make our work environment better, because right now it's flooded with a lot of toxic bullshit on both ends of the spectrum, and really nothing's being done about it. You know what I mean?
It's
like
covered up with like nice little flowers and presented in like a candy coated way, but it's like it's not good,
right,
at all. It doesn't help anybody.
Right. And everybody's trying to find these like workarounds on the platform to exceed. Like Royal Streamers, I don't actually know what that is, Gandalf.
Royal Streamers is basically a point system in a Discord that it's not very well known. And you get like a lot of flack for like even talking about it. So if anybody wants to know about Royal Streamers, you get points for watching other people's streams. It's like a lurk force thing, but like
Binks?
Not even like that. It's like a huge network of streamers who will push people into the hundreds of viewers, and you get points basically in these. And it's ridiculous. People getting like false partnerships. People like it's worse than embeds. Like it's people who like literally just open up like hundreds of tabs, you get hundreds of tabs back, and you get points for talking in them, and it's all disingenuine, and like it's
like follow for follow with a reward system.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's a Speedway rewards card for lurking.
That's fucking awesome. Not awesome. That's a great way to describe it. A Speedway rewards card.
And like Gandalf saying,
shit.
it's a pyramid scheme. Like basically all the people in the beginning are just like view butting all the people at the top with their lurks trying to get in. And it's not good.
Damn, dude. Oh, that's so fucking weird that like, especially
like
after all the Twitch changes, right? Mm-hmm. Because all the Twitch changes like de-incentivized all of that shit. So this is like a workaround for that, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, and it's terrible that people like, I know people in it. I'm just like, well, I won't judge you.
Yeah.
But I'm not going
But
to.
I'm going to judge you.
Yeah, well, I'm like secretly judging them. I'm just like, I mean.
Dude, again, like, I don't know. I feel like and I really want to promote. When I say promote, the word feels bad, but like I really do feel like we need to hold each other accountable, especially if we have respect for one another. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if like you're doing something that is disingenuous in any way, shape, or form, as long as it's pointed out in a way that's not like, you're a piece of shit, like that shouldn't be the default way to communicate, because that doesn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like treading the line for me, I found on Twitter, because you only have 240 characters, is memes. Because memes are like, you see that and you're like, you know, you get it, you fucking get it. Like it's not hard to interpret, and it's funny because it's a meme. So like there's your specific feedback. But like I would encourage anybody, if anybody has like any questions or any like specific feedback about anything, like you should be able to have a group of friends to go to. Like I know when I was making my intro, like I was, you know, tossing it to you, to Etwert, to a bunch of people that I had that I have respect for because of the amount of work you guys put into your streams. And dude, you're fucking inspirational as shit. Like I love and I've told this with Etwert too, like your interpretation of comedy and how you go about like doing anything involving your stream is a really good representation of yourself, because you're constantly trying to improve not only your stream, but in reflection of that, yourself in the whole thing. And this better the stream is doing is like a validation for like the work you had put in. You know what I mean? So changing those things and like doing all this stuff, like a lot, like when you said you had you ran into an OBS issue, I was like, oh well, you know, Drew's fucking redone his OBS like 3 times now. Like it just means we're getting more content, you know, like you'll be fucking putting your shit back together and you'll be like, oh wait, I could do this now, like you know, so you just damn, and dude.
I think that's what I love about you and your stream is like I can literally go back. Like every time I go into like your stream, there's something new. There's a different, not even like your raid calls are hilarious, but like anybody could do that. But like the effort that you put in with your personality and mix it with the certain scenes that you have, with like the first time that you had, you know, the calculations going on in the background, or the guy who comes out, it's like, that's pretty big, you know, like all of that, were just like winking uncontrollably. Like it's a shot from like a 6-shooter, but like I don't know, unlimited ammo.
Shotgun sounds,
that
is just like, I overdo it sometimes. I just like, I don't know, I do the things, I took inspiration from you guys because like your humor, and I say you guys, like when I say you guys, I mean comedian streamers. Drew, I would consider you walk the line of being a comedian. I think you're more of like a funny radio host that everybody wants to like listen to and hang out with, because you got like the DJ voice and effects and like the ripple shit. Like you can do like a live performance if it was like your actual music. The only thing is it's not, but you've choreographed this whole thing, you know. Sushi Dragon, Etwert, like all these people, like they have their own unique things comedically that makes them funny, and like because you're having a good time, everybody else will enjoy it, I think. You know, that's that extra layer that you get into with comedy, and that's like where the shotgun winks come from, and like the measuring of my mustache and like all that other shit. It's just because I don't know, man, like people were commenting on it. It's like, well, how can I like add an extra layer to it? You know, it's like literally measuring it with like iDubbbz coming in,
and it was perfect. And I think like my thing was like I just had to feel like I could entertain myself first.
You have to.
And that's where I think complacency can be overridden, is like just create stuff that you would want to watch, and that's where people fall short.
Yeah, I feel like when you start to know what you're doing, like you're mastering what you're doing, that's where like complacency can set in, and that's almost like your opportunity to grow. Like anytime you're getting bored of streaming or doing what it is that you're doing, it's like, okay, well, there's a flag for you. Like you should really look at what this is telling you, because now it's time to look at other avenues or things that you could be doing to change it up. And I remember it happened when I was streaming a lot, when I was unemployed. Like I had the time, that was one thing, but I remember sitting there and I was like, I have the same fucking alerts for like everything. How do I like differentiate this so that I can like change my energy level depending on what's going on? It's like, oh, 30 people are coming in, fuck shit stack, you know, like we're gonna do that. Or yeah, fucking nuts.
And I think like, I mean, I've definitely been at those points where I've been bored of streaming and just feel like I was just going with emotions. And I think even during the busiest parts of my life where like I knew I had to like make a change, it's like I would take a step back. I would take like a break for like, a week or two, and like take breaks. You need it. Like I think,
take your breaks.
Yeah. I had to literally like during some of those times where like I was just so completely alone, but I still needed a break from like streaming. It was like a double-edged sword. I was like, I needed that positive feedback from the people in the community, but like I still needed a mental break. So it was really, really weird. And I think like taking some of that time to be like, okay, it's fine. You can be like a sorry sap for a little bit, but it's like,
but you get like emotionally charged from it because you're like, there's this anticipation where you're like, I can't wait to show you what I've made, like it just constantly, it's this thing that you're not only doing it for yourself, like you said, you really strive to make people smile and have a good time, and like the smiling and the laughter and the vibes of like affecting somebody positively regardless of the situation, like that's the driving force. And if you know this shit's gonna work, then it's just like, I can't wait to unveil it, boys.
Yeah, like just like how you're doing with your intro video. I was like, just the other day I figured out like one little thing before I went to Boston. I was like, there's gonna be a lot of things I can do. This is like, okay, look, this is why I broke OBS and it wouldn't open. It's like really, and like it's so nice to be able to have that friend group to be like, let's work on stuff and excite each other about like making better content as a whole. So I like your whole idea of like, we're working together and we're making sure that like this is a whole platform that we all work and it's the same working space, because I think a lot of people fall short of that. They don't
well, they think they're all by themselves. I'm like, I literally can affect your fucking universe with where we're at. Like, who knows what's gonna happen when this ends, where we're going, like change somebody's life, arms up, like I just don't. Why did I do that?
No hands.
What am I doing with my hands?
It's cool. YMCA. This thing. But regardless, it's
sorry.
They're 100% we can change each other's universes, and I feel like I have. I feel like I want to continue doing that, and like it's so cool to have you as a part of my life, and so many other people as a part of our lives. Like if I go to Chicago, I'll be like, yo, I'm there.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I'll be there in August.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. So down.
Or to just be able to have these discussions and things like that, because, sometimes I don't want to be in the same room with somebody, but, it is nice to just, like, shoot the shit and talk about things.
Well, a lot of people can be in the same room and not talk to each other. That's another thing, too. Like, I feel like that's a really good gauge, too, as to, like, how comfortable somebody is with themselves. If you're, like, in a room and, like, we're all, like, just kind of hanging out and just relax, and if somebody's like, hey, I'm like, okay, listen, you just need to, can you shut the fuck up, please? We're just trying to exist. That's all we want to do right now. You're fucking that up. But I'm not gonna say that because it's mean, so I'll be like, dude, you gotta chill.
But I think some of my favorite people are honestly people that I can be watching a TV show, look over, there was a funny part in the show, and I giggle, they giggle, and we continue to watch the show.
Yeah, that's good.
And we just coexist in the same space. And those are my favorite people. And that's where I feel most comfortable. But I also feel like discussion is very necessary. But I'm most comfortable doing that, on Discord in a video call. Or I want to be able to like giggle with my friends in person, and I want to be able to have my discussions. Through Twitch. It's so
there's you can compartmentalize that shit, and like those discussions naturally happen. It happens over drinks or food or whatever. Like those moments happen. It's not like I'm doing the XP talk show on a fucking scooter next to you. We're like going down to TwitchCon. I'm like, hey, did you hear about this fucking ghost organs? You're like, no. Shut the fuck up, dude.
To hear about ghost organs? Let's hear it.
Do you want me to tell you what ghost organs are?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Okay, so ghost organs, for everybody who doesn't know, they are organs grown without being in a body. They use stem cells, and essentially what they do is they 3D scan an organ in your body, and then they grow that organ on the 3D printed catalyst, and they're completely white because they don't have blood cells in them. Like there's no blood, there was never blood flowing in them. When you put them into somebody's body, they will change the colors that are necessary to be made.
I actually remember all about like I didn't know that it was called ghost organs, but like basically you would 3D print the scaffolding and spray on stem cells and hope they grow.
Yeah.
They've successfully been able to do like a couple like small kidneys and things for like pigs and things like that.
Now they're growing them in robots.
Yep.
To keep them alive, which is fucking wild.
That's what I wanted to do before I was actually like getting into Twitch or like streaming. I wanted to go to school for biomedical engineering to do that.
That's nuts.
And then I went to school and like a roommate that I had like dipped. And so I had to like work 3 jobs to make rent in Chicago on my own when I was like 18.
God damn. I can't even imagine having 3 jobs, dude.
Yeah. Oh, that was a fun, like that was, I don't know, my life. Don't make decisions like me.
I mean, it's how you got to where you are though. Like,
yeah.
All of these stressful like situations, like they made you a better person. I feel like you understand yourself a great deal because of those things, because you put yourself. It's almost like I don't know how to. The best way I could explain it is when your personality, your very being, is tried in stress or the extremes of life. Like you come out, more brittle, or you come out stronger. And I mean, clearly you're on the stronger side of things. Otherwise, you wouldn't be where you're at now, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
There's always going to be opportunity.
Yeah.
There's always going to be opportunity. It's not like you're done growing, but what I'm saying is like you've come a long way, and this journey is filled with trials and tribulations, and you've done a lot to get past a lot of them, man.
Yeah.
And you need to hear that because some people don't fucking acknowledge that shit. Like they tell their stories and they tell these things about like how they grew up and what they've done, and you've been swimming in it for so long. It's like, just let the people appreciate the hard work you've done. You know what I mean? And you deserve that acknowledgement from a friend. Like, fuck, dude, if I was there to be like, when you were going through all that shit, if you were just like, yo, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do, I got 3 jobs, I'm like, you got this shit, bro, but you did that shit by yourself.
It was like, I think it was, I honestly truly appreciate it. And I think it was my objective to go with the path of least resistance, and like just making those decisions to be like, well, just fucking deal with it now.
Yeah.
Because like it was my stubbornness, like I said, where like at first it might be perseverance. My stubbornness kept me going, and I'm so content with where I'm at now. You're right, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No problem. Oh, Drew is an absolute champion. I thought you were gonna say unit, and I was like, he's not a big chonker or anything.
A chonker. But like, I think likewise, like, I think it's, I don't know. I kind of wish, I'm glad we got to meet each other when we got to meet each other, because I wonder if we would have been as good of friends in the different parts of our lives.
Fuck no, dude. You would have thought I was a piece of shit if you would have met me back in the day. I was a selfish asshole way back in the day. I don't think anybody would have told me that, in all honesty, but that was my perception of myself. I just had I had no concept of what other people were feeling, and I really didn't understand like my effect on other people. Like I was very much in the control situation, but a lot of it had to do with my ADHD and not being able to read when people, like, I didn't know how to read body language. So I'd be talking with people and like it'd be uncomfortable, or there'd get to a point in the conversation where it's like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Okay? Like you can clearly visibly see that, but I had no clue. And it was just like, no, dude, hang out with me or whatever. I'm cool. It's like, no, you're not. Just relax, dude. But yeah, I think we definitely hit it off at a good point in our lives. We've definitely grown a lot. Especially if I'm referencing like me growing up, man. Shit. I feel like I'm a completely different person. I feel like I've been awake consciously for like maybe 3 years.
Yeah, I'm happy to have gotten. What it's like a year and a half now. I've known you on Twitch.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's been. It's actually like I could probably like pull it up. But I think like so it's about a year ago in December, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
In December 19th, 2017.
Yeah.
But I think like just the way that you go about like positive reinforcement and like just making sure like people can be in a better headspace, I think that's extremely admirable and inspiring to be able to like, I love that. Like, it's so cool to be able to like have other people that like go around just like make sure people are reminded that they can do better.
Yeah.
In a nice way.
Well, they need to know that. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a fine line, and I'm not a fucking therapist. So if you come in here and you're like, Steve, I want to do this shit to myself or whatever, I'm like, there's resources out there for you. You know, like I'm not licensed to tell you what you can do. All I can really do is just share my own personal experience and the experience that are of the people that are willing to talk with me about this stuff. And like, that's where I think the conversation, the gray area is that like is unexplored. Because a lot of what we see is all about streaming and what it is, and it's rarely about the individual and like what they've gone through. Because like the ingredients to the person, and I think, you know, not everybody's an asshole. There's like ingredients, and I've talked about this, there's ingredients to making an asshole. You know, what variables in life brought them to the point where they're like, they think this is the way they can succeed in life. And the reason why is because they're being positively reinforced in one way or another without somebody raising their hand that they know, love, and trust to be like, that's not a good idea. You shouldn't do that. You know, like you're going to be stuck in this area. And I have so much respect for people who are like are the wrong path, recognize it, and then fucking dig their way out by doing something, going into the uncomfortable, really testing themselves with their ego, whatever it is. Like whatever it is that you think will make you better as a person, like I encourage everybody to do so, because the point, and you and me agree on this, the point of complacency is a dangerous place. It's a path of least resistance. It's comfortable. It's cushy. However, if you're finding like unsatisfaction with what you're doing, there's other shit to explore. These feelings are rarely recognized as like, okay, well, I should do something about them, instead of like, you need to go, you know, ride a bike or something. Like, I don't know. It's just pay attention to your fucking feelings and see where they're actually coming from. Don't be that person that like distracts themselves all day, and then when they're laying in bed at night, they're like questioning their very existence and what they're doing. And if you are, you got friends, please talk with them about it.
Yeah. And it's just like, I think through all of that, like, you know, talking about your ego and everything, I think as dangerous as having an ego could be, it can also be like one of your best tools.
Agreed.
Stubbornness and your ego will help you basically complete all those like little small victories that you need to celebrate. And I think you pointing out small victories within others and helping people realize small victories that can be had is probably one of the greatest positive tools on the platform, instead of just being like, everything's gonna be okay, because like everything's not okay sometimes.
No,
and
it can't
it's
be.
all about it's all
how
about
fucking boring life would be. Everybody be a bitch. Everybody would be a bitch. I'm not gonna say like, when I say bitch, like I mean I'm saying you're gonna be like, everything hurts you. Stop. Like you don't need to. Come on, man. Like there's trials and tribulations out there. You gotta like. There's some things to toughen up about, and there's some things to kind of really like look at and pay attention to. I feel like as a dude, we're, especially in the culture we're in now, in the social media culture, like aggressiveness and masculinity, these are like toxic quote unquote toxic things that people associate with it. But like you said, when you say ego, like I really do think like aggressiveness, and I've been starting to do this within the past like month and a half. That's a card that I've had in my deck and have since, like, I abandoned that shit a long time ago because I grew up in a very, aggressive and stressful household, and I saw how like my parents reacted, specifically my mom, and I was like, I cannot do that. Like if I do that, I'm gonna be a bad person, because I associated aggressiveness with like bad behavior, negative things. And so it's now like a powerful tool. It's a fuel to drive me to do something, because now it's like, when I didn't want to work out today, I was like, quit being a fucking bitch. And I'm like, that sounds mean as fuck, but
as a man, you gotta like man up, grow some balls.
But like that sounds like stupid shit. But if I'm talking to myself, like, please respect me by letting me talk shit to myself so that I can do something. Otherwise, I'm not gonna do
quality
it.
Stubbornness, I wouldn't wake up. I would just roll out of bed and be like, okay, I'll clock in really late today, and like, I don't know, drink a lot and like vomit in the morning. It's fine. But like the stubbornness makes it so that like okay, you're not happy, stop being a bitch and just go make yourself happy.
You can't, but that's not specific. That's not specific enough. It's like, what are you gonna make happy, and what are you gonna pursue to make that happiness happen?
And that's where you figure out like the little easy steps. Be like, okay,
Make your
I
bed.
sucked walking by like the dishes and they weren't done. Maybe I should go do the dishes, or maybe my desk is really dirty right now. Maybe I should clean that up, or I don't know.
Set the bar low.
Anything.
You don't got to conquer the world. You got to do baby steps, and then like, what's that? It's baby steps as small as they are still in a forward direction, bitches. I had to take that like super nice quote and add bitches at the end of it.
Sometimes everything's better when you add a couple bitches.
Sometimes things are better when you add a couple bitches. True.
But
Dude.
I think like
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
same wavelength. I'm on the same page. I get it. There are things that I used to like disassociate with, like positive, like, you know, how you didn't like aggressiveness, you know?
Yeah.
And like now you can use that as a tool. Like arguing is one of those things where I hate arguing. I won't do it, but like I can argue with myself and use that to be better.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel like arguing is one thing, but like a discussion is an entirely different thing. Like arguing is I want to win. But like you're not, there's no winning like in this thing. Like if you believe something, I'm not going to try to like argue with you, you know, like I don't engage because you are like in the sand. I'm not going to fucking dig you out. That's your job. You know what I mean? Like if you want to talk about the differences, that's totally fine. I'm open to that. But as soon as it gets into the like, but blah blah blah, and they get loud and all this other shit, I'm like, yeah, you can just I'm not engaging anymore. We're done. Good day, sir. You know.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. I'm so open to listening to anybody about anything, and I will respect their views and behaviors, unless, of course, they're hurting other people. But man, it's just it's such a weird. I feel like all of this is weird. I never thought I'd be able to make a network of friends online, let alone go see them, hang out with them over the weekend. You know, TwitchCon was unreal. Like, Gregor, you say you cry a lot. I cried for the first time because of my wonderful fiance, Leia, like the princess in the chat. She's made me more like open and honest and acknowledging those vulnerable feelings, because growing up, like you just mentioned, it's like, quit being a little bitch. Like, like those feelings are really tough for dudes. Like, I feel like, I don't know. We almost have to like brush those off. If you start to feel vulnerable at all, it's almost like, no, you can't do it. Like you just gotta tuck it down deep, and then it explodes out later in a different way, not, you know, sexually. It just happens. It's just one of those things. It manifests itself in a different way. Chief, thank you. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in.
Hi guys. But yeah, like that's where I let mine, you know, dissipate and float away.
Yeah.
Let them float and dissipate. But yeah, TwitchCon was just like an amazing like group of feelings. And I think there was a question in chat earlier where, you know, he was asking if you could have, you know, some of your friends online be better than the friends that you have IRL. And like, I think like, I don't know, like I don't have problems with the people that I've, you know, basically handpicked online when I go to the conventions. But I don't know if it's everybody's on their best behavior, because you're only going to see them in short little doses. I like, that's one of those things where like you're kind of right in the line of like authenticity, where like you don't know if everybody's just like trying to be really excited and hug everybody and just be the best they can be at the conventions. But that's not something I saw at TwitchCon with some of the people that we had there. And I was so ecstatic to, you know, hang out with them, love on them, like just be in their general vicinity and like see things going on and look over and giggle. It was like some of my favorite people. Just, I think, how many times did we lose sleep just laughing over the stupidest things when we were in our little camper? Like,
Too true,
I don't
dude.
know if you guys know it. Too true, dude. For those of you who don't know, I was with Ultra Smash and Konky at TwitchCon last year, and we stayed in like a little RV. We were gonna go glamping, glamorous camping, and we thought that camper was gonna be a little bit bigger than it was. And
Spoiler alert, it was not.
It was not. I slept on the kitchen table, and Ultra and
Literally
Konky
the
were-
kitchen table. We spent like a good, what did we spend? Like 15, 20 minutes like figuring out that the table literally removed itself, and then the people who had made the camper figured out that it like laid perfectly in between the gap in the seats you would be sitting in. And we were like, can you sleep on this? And you're like, I'm gonna fucking sleep on it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
But that was just like one of my favorite times, was literally just being a part of like each other's like inhabitable space and just like laughing with your buds. You know, it was like those moments. Like, I don't know if you could have those with people that like, it's very rare that like everybody in your close proximity, just because you're seeing them going on and living their own lives,
Right.
you know, in close proximity. So I think like just trying to make the most of the time that you have with people that aren't IRL, really makes for some amazing times. Like, I think knowing that you only have 4 days to see somebody in California, or 3 days to see somebody in Texas or Boston or wherever I might go or other people might go,
Right.
it makes some really amazing moments, because like you're not going to sleep in most of the time. You're going to hang out. You're going to go have some drinks. You're going to not try to fight with everybody. Like, it's a really hard question to answer, because like maybe if like, I don't know, I've had roommates stay with me from Twitch. Didn't work out so well.
Right.
Everything was amazing online, but like once they enter your house, it's a totally different story. So yes and no. You can have your best friends online.
Well, you really get to like, I mean, like you said, you're physically inhabiting a space. So if they don't care about themselves, it translates into how they interact with the world. You know what I mean? So like there's a direct translation in that, I think. I'm not like an expert, again, fucking personal opinion, but everybody that I've experienced in my life that is not respectful of the environment doesn't have respect for themselves. And it's really hard to see that, especially when you have known them online and like associated with them online and thought you had a relationship online. It's almost like you were not betrayed, but you were like, oh shit, you're fucking you're working on stuff. Okay, I see that, you know. I'm gonna let you do that. Maybe we just don't room together next time. You know, like, and that's how it was. And dude, I mean, I will say I don't get to hang out with Ultra as much as I would like to, because of time zone differences, primarily. And like, I like to get to bed early so that I'm, you know, I'm not sleep deprived at all. If I get like, I found the threshold. If it's like 7 hours, I'm okay, but 6, I'm gonna fucking kill somebody. Like, like, I'm not a happy camper. I just need to work. And if you engage with me, just know that I'm gonna be short and like sweet about it. But dude, Ultra was an absolute pleasure to fucking talk with and hang out with the whole time. Like, he's such a good dude. And man, I know everybody had like accommodations and shit like elsewhere in hotels, but like we had the best fucking time.
I think we did, yeah.
Like 100%. How many people could say they pooped together, you know, in the same space? Not many.
Yeah, we had a foot pedal for it too.
Yeah, foot pedals.
We don't even have to explain it.
Yep.
Just leave it at that.
That's it. Foot pedal poops, dude.
Foot pedals. Okay, podcast's over. No.
But yeah, I haven't. Well, I was thinking about just like the overall time that we had spent, and like that. Honestly, I remember most about, you know, the hanging out with like the whole Litz fam in the stadium and all of that. The convention was kind of like a blur of like moving around and stuff, but meeting people and hanging out in that camper were like some of the best times I've had. And I really do feel like I've grown closer to you guys, because not only were we in proximity, but it's like we were doing everything together like brothers. And those late nights, I haven't had like a late night staying up till fucking 2 a.m. laughing about stupid ass phrases and shit in years, since I was like,
since I was in high school.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Or even just like times and moments we got to share with people like, you know, Matt Man, or just anybody, like people that were just
Matt Man's such a good dude. Yeah.
Just, you could just truly find out just how authentic and genuine somebody was. And you can try to do your best, like, you know, through streaming and everything like that. But that was a fantastic moment, I think. Just being able to figure out like, these are some damn good friends that I'll have for a long time.
Agreed. Yeah. Did you have any questions for me? I feel like I've been asking a lot of questions, but did you have anything for me that you were curious about, or anything that like you had been wondering?
I think realistically, like, I'm always curious, you know, what are your plans like for stream? Like, where do you want to take it?
Yeah.
what doors do you want it to open, or are you like congratulations on being engaged and everything like that? Are you going to
Yeah.
be, teaching, kids in the next years like how to play video games and stuff, or is it a world that you don't really want to share with the, like, I'm just curious.
I don't like to compartmentalize anything when it comes down to like streaming. I like to be pretty open about most of my stuff. I know that can be dangerous, especially if like people find out my identity and like all that shit. But in all honesty, I really don't think that's going to be hard to do. I feel like, with a family, and then I would say like that's probably coming up in the next 3 years, 4 years. That's fucked up, dude. Like, my best friend had a kid. Peter has a kid.
Which is crazy.
They're 9 months old. I'm like holding this baby, sitting on my lap, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna know you. You're gonna know me my entire life. That's fucked up, dude, to think about. Like, I don't know. It's crazy to me that we're in this society, and like, I don't know how I'm going to raise kids in this crazy fucking world. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but like you said, let it dissipate. For me, it's like I can't control that right now, so I'm not worrying about it. But with Twitch, I mean, over these past year and a half, I really feel like I've gotten the swing of things, and now it's more about like, okay, so how can I express myself streaming and go deeper into this sort of area of comedy and inclusion and conversation. And I'm very excited to do these XP talk shows, man. Like, I fucking love talking to people. I love hearing their stories. I love engaging the audience and the person I'm talking to with questions, because it not only like, it's not for like, I don't do this shit to be renowned or whatever. I just genuinely want to know so that I can learn, and in bipartisan fucking people learn because they're here.
Yeah.
So working on making that more inclusive. Like, I just started the whole question queue thing. Before it was like, okay, if you guys got any questions, like, fucking ask them now. But it's like, you have the whole stream to be asking questions and you didn't get the chance. So now you can queue it up, and
yeah,
it's like, I feel like I've got the fundamentals down. So it's just like, how do I get these variables of communication between me and the chat and the person down even further? And how do I make that feel like it's an intimate experience without it being an interview or whatever? I just want to have a conversation with people.
And I love how you've opened up the conversation to people who even have to question like why they're on it, like, yeah. I love that it's like you're just trying to get to know people, and because everybody's got a different story, everybody's got something that they like, they have different tribulations and trials and things like that. And I think it's really cool, like, whether somebody's notably gone through different trials, nobody knows until you have a conversation. So I think It's really cool that like you ask just people.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
I like that, it's people.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping to, like, I guess I'm looking to partner with a lot more people too. I have, like, I'm only doing 3 days a week now streaming, because I found that if I do 4 days, there's always a lackluster day. Like, I've been,
yeah.
And that's the nice thing about like the analytics portion on Twitter's or Twitch side is I get to genuinely see like when people are engaged, when they want to see me, when engagement is low, and I determine that it's because there's I see when the view count starts to drop down, and I go to that part of the VOD and I'm like, well, I was fucking tired. So how do I make myself not tired? Okay, Steve, you got to work out more, you got to eat, you got to sleep. Those are the 3 fundamentals of being a fucking human being. And if you're not doing those 3 things, then you're not going to be the best self you can be online. So it's a constant process. I feel like the past year has been for me just trying to figure out my work-life balance and not burning myself out or burning the candle at both ends like I was doing about like 7-8 months ago. Because that's when streaming would get me in trouble. It'd be like,
yeah,
you don't spend any time with me. I'm like, I'm addicted. Don't you get it? Like,
yeah,
yeah. But what did you? Sorry, go ahead.
You're good. I just think it's really awesome that like, there's a whole lot of it. Being the best you that you can be to prepare yourself for the stream. I like that. That's something I think I would probably have to work on, because I try to thrive off the stream instead of let the stream thrive off me.
Yeah.
So there's stuff that like I can take from this, which is really awesome. I'm always willing to learn and things like that. Like this discussions like this are absolutely fantastic for everybody.
No,
enjoy
I agree. Yeah. I mean, that's why I wanted to make this show. It was like, I didn't really know what it was before. And it started off as like a science fueled talk show only.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like you had mentioned before, like people wondering why I want them on the show. Like Kate Bit, when I reached out, she was like, I'm not sciencey. Like, I don't know what the fuck to talk about. I'm like, listen, that doesn't matter. Like, just throw this science shit out the window. We can talk about stuff. If it comes up, maybe you'll learn something, like the ghost organ thing. Like, that just happened.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not planning for this. I'm not like, oh, well, do you know about, like, how the bees are being affected by deforestation and why? Like, I don't need to do that. I don't need to insert that or inject it into the conversation. It will just come up because of how my fucking ADHD brain works. So, yeah. That's pretty much it, man.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's just that. It's just trying to... I feel like I'm always wrestling with this thing that, like, I'm trying to identify, but I'll never figure it out what it is. It's like catching missing number, whatever, on Pokemon. You're just like, okay, yeah, I got it. And it's like, well, it's like Genghis Khan, what the fuck? And then you're, like, catching another one. It's like Ninetales or whatever, and I just don't... I'll never figure it out, but I'm always going to be striving to catch it. Does it make sense?
Yeah. And I think, like, just... That's a healthy thing to, you know, I don't think like anything that you do, like streaming on the platform, to relate it back to Twitch, is going to be measurable, like, you know, in a physical, like, hey, you did it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, they want affiliation, they want partnership, like they want the validation from outside sources, their community and things like that. But I think what is most important is avoiding complacency and validating what you do and being content and happy with the progress you're making.
Yeah.
Is really important. So to see progress in, like, my friends, and to see that they're self-validating and being proud of the scenes they make or the interactions they hold or the conversations that are had, that's what makes me happiest and happy to be a part of the platform. I think that's the tangible, like, this is good, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. It's good vibes.
Yeah.
Did you have any other questions for me?
I don't. Like, I've been enjoying listening to the talk shows. I've been enjoying, like, listening. Like, I watch the VODs and I enjoy it.
Thank you.
Like, I feel like I know a lot about you that you don't know that I know a lot about you.
Yeah. Dude, that's the weird thing about all of this. Like, we talked about it on at TwitchCon, because you had people who recognize you. I had a couple people who recognized me, and I didn't know them, only their username. Yeah. And I was like, whoa. I don't even know what the fuck's happening right now. You know me. Like, I don't know you. I don't know who you are. Like, how cool is it that this person just, like, spent the time to get to know me and understand me? And that's, dude, that feeling, like, I've just accepted that. Like, as soon as I met Breeze, THC, and NRG, they, like, when they, Breeze, like, was like, Konky or whatever, and I was like, what? And I didn't know who he was until I saw his badge, and I fucking freaked out, because I was like, dude, I don't get to hang out with you or talk with you in person. You don't stream, so I don't know you. Like, it's just, we're all listening to each other's podcast and getting to know the intimacies, because that just happens. Like, when you're online, and whether you think, like, you know, Sushi Dragon stream is intimate or not, I think it is. I think there's a lot of intimacy in it when you watch him perform and talk and all that stuff. You just start to understand them a lot. And the weird thing is it's almost like we're all showcasing what we are, like, how we exist by ourselves, but we're not really, it's not tangible. It's not this thing that we understand until somebody talks to us like they know us, like they've known us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what we felt like in our Lost in the Sauce stream team meetup. Like, when we were all together, I would say a majority of us were like, wow, this is crazy. How validating is it to be surrounded by the same fucking people we've been watching and hanging out with this whole time? Like, it's just so cool to be able to, like, I picked good people. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, fuck, it feels great.
And I think, like, it's one of those, like, I think the first moment where I had that, like, validating experience was I was up in Chicago, and I was like, I think I was probably 8 months in, but I had two moderators, Catman and Hockey Smash, and I took them out to dinner. Well, I didn't take them out to dinner. I was broke, so we all split dinner.
Sounds good. Yeah.
And I think we went to Maggiano's over by like the Woodfield Mall, and it was just like so interesting and so like it's awesome when you get to hang out with streamers who you know everything about. TwitchCon was awesome because we knew about each other. We hang out with each other.
There was no introductions. It was just like I fucking know who you are.
And then I think with like my situation was they had watched me for like hundreds of hours, and I like they knew everything about me, and I knew nothing about them.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized I had to change kind of how I was interacting with the community. Was like I could ask a question and be like, hey, do you remember this? Like I could be talking with my ex at the time, and then like I was just like, whoa, you know everything about me, and I'm like, I don't know anything about you. And it was just like tore me up. I was like, how do I get to know people as people and not? So that was I think an interesting way to like validate it, but it was just also an interesting way to be like, you need to change things.
Yeah. That's honestly, it's like it's an eye opener because it's like, well, how well do you know these people that you're hanging out with, and how often are you having these conversations, and what can you do to bridge the gap between you and the people that like simply just want to be there, you know? And I really do feel like, I mean, especially with like lurkers and stuff too, not calling anybody out or anything. I appreciate all you guys do. You probably, those people who are lurking, you probably know me really well. And I don't even know how to thank you enough for even just like choosing to spend your time here, just watching and observing and enjoying the content. I'm like, I'm the content. That's why I tripped over my words. You're enjoying my company. It's like you're that guest that I'm just like giving food to and like charcuterie and beer, and you're like, you're just saying thank you, you know, like repeatedly. Like that's it. Like I just don't know what else to equate it to. It's like unexplainable that everybody came to the house party and just enjoyed the ambience. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Right? They were just like listening and observing the conversation and just enjoyed it. Like I love that. Fuck man, it's so nuts. Gregor, what was creepy? Oh, dude, that is weird. So like you never have face-to-face combos, but you finally meet up for the first time and it's like you've known each other for years. It's not creepy, Gregor. I cried. I cried. Drew saw it. He saw me cry.
It was beautiful.
Confirmed crier. Dude, it was
a handsome cry. Like,
yeah, and then Atward came up behind me and like smooched my neck and shit. I just didn't know what to. It was just this. That was probably like I didn't even know how to handle it because I was like, because I was sitting. I remember we it was like the perfect day. Slept great, scootered to TwitchCon, which by the way, scootering in downtown San Jose is like fucking, if you ain't scootering, get out, you know? Scooter squad.
So good.
Dude, I just listened to gangster rap in one ear and scooter the whole way. It was so fucking dope. Anyway, so I have a great ass morning, grab some coffee, go to meet up with the friends, and then we're all in a giant circle in this one portion in the hallway. And everybody is talking and I am not. I'm just like standing and looking at everybody, and I'm just like, man, it's so crazy that like the world exists in this day and age where I've made friends that are so great, and they're all here right now, and I get to like be with them physically instead of just like on the other side of a screen. I'm kind of tearing up right now thinking about it. And then like fucking Rocco comes in and I just like break. I'm just like, that's it. All it took was like a cat puppet to fucking push me over the edge. And then I'm crying and I'm like hugging people, and like fucking Atward's behind me and like smooching my neck, and he's like, it's okay. And I'm like, God damn it, this is so beautiful. Like everything about this is great, you know? So
it was, you can't really put it into words, just like, because I mean, you grow up thinking about how many times your parents warned you about meeting people from the internet.
Right.
And to find out that they were just so wrong.
They're way cooler than they thought, you know?
And just being smart about the people that we got to interact with, like, it was like, I don't know, it was so cool. Like, I think it's stupid that like we didn't get to hang out in Chicago and we got to meet for the first time, and like it was like, yo, I don't know. It was I mean, I like before that experience, like I had gotten to meet people for the first time, like Ultra.
Yeah.
He picked me up from the airport for like PAX South 2 years ago, and he just stared at me for like 5 minutes. And it was like, it was beautiful.
Yeah, he's like, you're here, dude.
But Twitch kind of like just like be like, this is all my friends from all different parts of the world that are sitting here right now, it's intangible, and that's the validation. Like I would do it all over again. I would go through my my breakups, my almost evictions, and like being completely broke and just living off ramen and disappointing family, all over again to make the friends that I have now.
Yeah,
all over again.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, we got a couple questions in the queue. I think that's a good time for that. What do you think?
Yeah, that's fine.
This is fine.
Everything's fine.
Zonosaki asks, where did Drew get his DrewPDrawers name from? I hope he didn't poo himself one day.
I always used to run around the house, and I guess, I don't know, Filipinos aren't known for big butts, white dudes aren't known for big butts, and I'm Puerto Rican, Filipino, German, and Irish, I think, and I never had a big butt, so my pants would fall down a little bit, and my father actually called me DrewPDrawers, running around the house, like, trying to make sure my pants would stay on.
Hell yeah.
So I've had DrewPDrawers for a long time. I got it from my father. Yeah, and I put my name with it, and like, that's been my username forever. It's never been anything else.
I think I remember that story too. That's a good one though. I wear DrewPDrawers. Guy Manley asked, do you think internet friends can be better than IRL friends? Working nights, I have less time for IRL social interactions, and I have more in common with hand-picked buddies in California, Australia, or Finland than anyone in my local city. So the question is, do you think internet friends can be better than IRL friends? I think internet friends can be IRL friends, man.
Yep.
They can become that. But go ahead. Yeah,
like,
what's your perspective, Drew?
Your internet friends, like, there are walls that aren't initially put up that are typically put up IRL. Like self-inhibitions that you'd put up when initially meeting people that, like, there's the... I mean, with IRL, you can't just throw away a friend, you know? You can't just, like, ghost somebody and they're gone. They're going to be in your general proximity.
Right.
Online, you can. So
True.
If they don't validate your feelings, it's so much easier to back out of it. But because of the way that you're a little bit more open, you can develop closer relationships online, I guess.
Right.
Through lack of walls that you put up.
I agree. Any other questions before we finish up, guys? Thank you guys for joining us. Really quick, Drew, thank you for the host. Sodasaki, thank you for the host. Easy Cheese, thank you for the 7 months. Brave Little Yellow, thank you for the follow. Gregor, thank you for the subscription of 9 months. Reverend Sven, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Zingab, thank you for the follow. And Duncan, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to K-Bit. And Zariah subscribed with the 4 months. I know Drinky Bear is subscribed now, so thank you. Mwah. And oh my god, we had that raid come in from Zader. Zader, thank you. Mwah. Yo, is that hot snack in a basket of delicious I see on my screen? Yes, it is, Stuff Master. Drew is hanging out here. Stuff Master, thank you for that follow. Mwah. What would you say your proudest moments on Twitch are? I'll let you go first.
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what if I don't want to go for it? I mean, I think...
You want me to go first while you think about it?
My proudest moments would be realizing that, like, because I try to be pretty... Although, I love some of the things that, like, I've been able to help people do. And to help other people be proud in the content that they produce is one of my proudest moments. Like, realizing that whether it's tools that I, like, figured out how to do, or whether it's just, like, confidence I inspired within other people.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, the platform itself is saturated with complacency and just terribly blind individuals, and I think, like, as many people that can, like, be proud of what they're doing and be inspired to do better is my proudest moments. Like, I love answering questions. I love, you know, sometimes I get overwhelmed with it and, like, I can't get to all of them, but, like, when I can and I can spend some time and, like, really help somebody be, you know, happy with what they're doing, that's what I love about streaming.
Oh yeah, man. Razorbeam, don't worry about it. Thanks for stopping in. Mwah. Treeborn says, Drew has helped me so goddamn much. Drew senpai. Drew, your senpai. If I was to answer this question, it has been everybody being super patient with just me finding my own thing and how I exist. Like, there's people that have been here since I've started that I don't get to see that often, but still pop by and are still, you know, talking with me and stuff, and it blows me the fuck away. I mean, raising money for maps has been like my favorite thing. Like, we raised $2,000 last year because of you guys. All the bits, all the subs. Like, I work full-time and I stream part-time, and I give half of the money through bits and subs through our Twitch payout to maps. You know, I guess I should tell everybody about it. They have a cure for PTSD, guys. It's a treatment using MDMA assisted psychotherapy. I don't know if you guys know this, but post-traumatic stress disorder, the way it works is when you have PTSD, the trauma, the bad memory is stuck in the short-term part of the brain. And that's what causes people to relive that terrible experience that they've had over and over and over again. And it occurs through like a trigger. So like a firework going off at 4th of July or whatever. It could be a smell, it could be a taste, whatever. And the way they cure this stuff is, and when I say cure, I mean actually cure it. They give somebody a medicinal dose of MDMA, they do a therapy session, and over the course of 11 to 12 sessions, they have an 80 to 90% cure rate. And when I say cure, the memory moves to the long-term part of the brain, which allows it to be a memory and not have to be relived over and over again. It's amazing research. If you'd rather donate directly, you can do that through that link there. We're trying to raise $3,000 this year. Last year we did $2,000, which is fucking insane. I still can't believe you guys listen to me do this shit like over and over and over again. Like, I explained this so many times and everybody's just like, yeah, dude, fuck, so cool. You know, like, I appreciate that. So thank you. Thank you guys so much. That was my proudest moment, was fucking $2,000 for maps. That shit is tight. Thank you.
Nuts. That's
literally
awesome.
helping me change the world. And I'm excited to work with them too more. Like, when I was in California for TwitchCon, they called me and they were like, how did you know about maps? And like all this other shit. And then they're supposed to have like some sort of dinner where they come to they're coming to like the major cities and like meeting with like their donors or whatever. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'd love to talk with scientists and shit about this. It'd be crazy.
That's so cool,
dude. I mean, I can't do that's I guess that was my like turning point too, is like I don't like streaming for myself. I like the way relationships work, obviously, is like there's a reward aspect to it in some regard, but I just want to like, I want to be able to just share as much information as possible, and then somebody will walk away from the whole thing and be like, wow, I didn't fucking know about that or whatever. So man, Drew, what do you got coming up that's going to be anything coming up that's going to be super exciting? You got some new effects. If you guys haven't dropped down this man's stream, dude has some dope shit as always, but there's some new stuff in there. Please check him out. Exclamation point Drew in the chat if you're not following him already.
I think I'm just excited. I'll get to visit some people next month when I'm in Dallas.
Hell yeah.
So I get to see like Rover and everybody over down there. So probably see Lich as well. But yeah, if any of you guys, I don't know, reach out to me if you go to any conventions in your area. I'll probably be at one of them this year. This is my year for traveling and working my ass off so I can like pick what I want to do by next year and just run with one thing. So.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Drew, this is the part where I let you, as the person who's my special guest, pick who you'd like to raid.
Oh Lord.
So while you're doing that, I will tell the folks about what's going on outside of the stream, okay?
Okay.
All right, guys. So we're coming to the conclusion of the stream. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for all the fucking support, seriously. Stuffmaster, Treeborn, thank you for those follows. As always, after the show is finished and the video is processed, it will be available for highlighted, so you guys can watch it later. I'm also looking to get it on YouTube and stuff. As of right now, that's a little bit iffy, just because of like copyright and all that other shit. Thankfully, we know the artist who's been playing music in the background this entire time, so we got that going for us. You guys can check me out Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday every week. Schedule 7:30 p.m. Central Time. If you'd like to support the stream in, holy shit, Kill Cannon, fucking 1,000 bits. Are you serious, Scott? Thank you. If you guys aren't following Kill Cannon, I'm not saying this because if Scott Kill Cannon showed up without donating any bits, he'd still get a shout out because he's a fucking hunk of a human being inside and out. Please go check him out. He plays Hearthstone. He's a super wonderful, accommodating dude. He does amazing charity work as well. He will tell you more about it if you follow him. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. If you'd like to support the stream in any other way and level up yourself, we are affiliated with Onnit, Onnit. Right now they have some dope fucking Street Fighter apparel. It's a human optimization company that sells supplements, workout equipment, and if you don't want to buy any of that shit, you can just look at their free articles about diet, exercise, mental space, whatever it is. It's something I've been using for 5 years. It's better than fucking G Fuel, no offense, or like Sneak or whatever. That's all. I'm just talking mad shit about it. Nobody can see you, Drew. No, don't do it, Drew.
That's me drinking Sneak in the background.
Sorry. Oh god. Speaking of Onnit, did you see my clip I DM'd you? No, not yet. Anyway, who are we rating, Drew?
How about Madman?
Madman? Fuck yeah, dude.
Madman's on.
Hell yeah. Let's go, dude. What supplements do I take again? I take Alpha Brain. Oh, it's backwards. Hold on. Oh, still backwards. Still, there we go. Alpha Brain. I also have a bunch of other shit. They have this immune supplement that I've been taking because of the fucking allergies and people getting sick. That uses the cordyceps mushroom, which is a non-psychedelic mushroom, but is split into 3 things. One's for health, one's for endurance. So if you like need a wake me up post-workout thing, or if you want to relax, they also have one of those. If you want to try a free bottle of New Mood, it's actually in my info panel. You just got to pay for shipping. If it doesn't work, guess what? It's free. You just paid for shipping. No fucking worries about it. Okay, we're gonna go raid I Am Matman. I always have trouble spelling his name.
Here, I'll put it in chat.
Thank you. This is where we're going. What's our raid message, Drew?
I am Raidman.
I am Raidman? Protector of the Matman? Protector of the Matman.
I don't know. My raid messages are always bad.
It's okay. That's why I love you. But not the only reason.
Say, this is a raid. And like
this is a raid. Let's do this. I am Raidman, protector of the Matman.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Drew, are you gonna be live tomorrow?
I believe so. Probably tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
9 p.m. You guys heard it. Eastern Standard Time.
I love you guys.
Oh, fuck, I almost rated I Am Raidman.
You would.
That's stupid. Fuck.
Thanks so much for having me on the EXP Talk show. I appreciate it so much, Konky.
Dude, no problem. We got to do it again. Everybody's like, dude, it was so funny. Kate's like, Kate was like, dude, I can't wait to do this again. I'm like, yeah, you'll do it whenever I feel like doing it again. That's pretty much what I said. It was so stupid. But I'm like, I only do this once a week. So it's like, and it's hard to schedule this shit. So like, maybe I'll do like 3 back-to-back shows. Because in all honesty, I like doing this shit more than I like playing video games.
I enjoy it a hell of a lot. And I think like that's one of the walls that like I have to bury down. Like I can't do that. I can't talk to people like this all the time.
Yeah. Well, you can do it if you're. I feel like anybody can do it as long as they're comfortable. And if you're not comfortable, you're gonna be like, well, like barfing all over yourself and shit.
It's fun.
But thank you again, dude, for coming on. I know like the thanks is in my court, but I sincerely, I love talking with my friends, and I consider you a very dear friend. So thank you for joining me on this conversation.
Likewise.
And it won't be the last one.
Better
all right,
not be.
you guys ready?
Likewise, man.
We're going. I love ya. I'll see ya. Give me some kisses, Drew. I love ya. I'll see you later on the next episode of Dragon's Ball P.